Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that has been a source of endless debate in the tech world. Should you switch from Windows to Linux? For many, Windows is the default operating system, the one we've used our whole lives. But there's this other world, the world of Linux, that promises freedom, power, and a whole new way of using your computer. So is it worth making the jump? We're going to break down the pros and cons to help you decide if Linux is right for you. We'll cover everything from cost and security to software compatibility and the infamous learning curve. By the end of this video, you'll have a much clearer picture of what to expect. Let's get started. First up, let's talk about the biggest, most obvious advantage of Linux. It's free. Not just free as in no cost, but free as in freedom. Most Linux distributions, or distros as they're called, are completely free to download, install, use, and share. Compare that to the price of a Windows license, which can set you back a pretty penny. And it's not just the operating system itself. A huge amount of the software available for Linux is also free and open source. This means you get powerful tools for video editing, graphic design, office work, and programming without spending a dime. This open source philosophy is at the core of Linux. It means the source code is available for anyone to see, modify, and distribute. This leads to a vibrant community of developers constantly improving the software, fixing bugs, and adding new features. It's a completely different model from the closed proprietary world of Windows. Next, let's talk security. This is a massive win for Linux. Because of its Unix-like architecture and user permission system, Linux is inherently more secure than Windows. Viruses, malware, and ransomware that plague Windows users are incredibly rare on Linux. You don't really need to run a constant, resource-hogging antivirus program in the background. Now, that's not to say Linux is completely immune, but the risk is significantly lower. The open-source nature helps here too. With thousands of developers worldwide looking at the code, security vulnerabilities are often found and patched much faster than in a closed-source environment. For anyone concerned about privacy and security online, Linux offers a level of peace of mind that's hard to find on other platforms. Your data is more likely to be your own, with less corporate tracking and data collection built into the core of the system. Another huge pro is customization and performance. If you love to tinker and make your computer truly your own, you will fall in love with Linux. With Windows, you're pretty much stuck with the user interface they give you. But with Linux, you can change almost everything. There are dozens of different desktop environments, from a super lightweight one that can run on a 15-year-old laptop to a beautiful, modern interface with all the bells and whistles. You can customize your icons, your window manager, your system panels, you name it. This flexibility also extends to performance. Linux is famously lightweight. You can revive an old computer that struggles to even boot Windows and turn it into a fast, responsive machine. Even on modern hardware, Linux often feels snappier and uses fewer system resources than Windows, leaving more power for your actual tasks, like gaming or compiling code. Okay, we've talked about the good stuff, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Let's get real about the cons, and the biggest one for most people is the learning curve. While many modern Linux distros like Ubuntu or Mint have become incredibly user-friendly, there's no denying that it's a different world from Windows. You'll have to learn some new terminology, figure out a different file system structure, and occasionally, you might need to open up the terminal. The terminal, that black box with text, can be intimidating for beginners. While you can do most things with a graphical interface these days, some advanced tasks or troubleshooting steps are just faster and easier through the command line. This can be a deal breaker for people who just want their computer to work without any fuss. You have to be willing to learn, to Google things, and to sometimes get your hands a little dirty to solve a problem. The next major hurdle is software and gaming compatibility. This is probably the #1 reason people hesitate to switch. While the situation has improved dramatically, it's still a fact that not all software runs on Linux. Most mainstream applications, like the Adobe Creative Suite or certain specialized professional programs, are not available natively. While there are excellent open-source alternatives like GIMP for Photoshop or DaVinci Resolve for video editing, they might not be what you're used to, or they might not be the industry standard in your field. So you have to check if the critical software you rely on every day will work. There are compatibility layers like Wine that can run some Windows applications, but it can be a bit hit or miss and often requires extra configuration. If your workflow depends on a specific Windows-only program, you might have to stick with Windows or consider a dual boot setup. And that brings us to gaming. For a long time, gaming on Linux was a non-starter. But thanks to Valve and their Proton compatibility tool, things have changed drastically. A huge number of games from your Steam library now run on Linux, often with very little performance difference. It's truly amazing what the community has achieved. However, it's not perfect. Games with aggressive anti-cheat software, like Valorant or some Call of Duty titles, often won't run at all. While the list of compatible games is massive and growing every day, you can't just assume every single game will work out of the box. If you're a hardcore competitive gamer who needs to play the latest AAA titles with anti-cheat the moment they launch, you might find Linux frustrating. For most casual to moderate gamers, however, it's become a surprisingly viable platform. So, after all that, what's the verdict? Should you switch? The honest answer is, it depends entirely on you. If you're a developer, a data scientist, or someone who values security, privacy, and ultimate control over your system, Linux is an absolute powerhouse. The access to the terminal, the package managers, and the open source ecosystem are a dream come true. If you're a casual user who primarily browses the web, checks email, and uses Office applications, a user-friendly distro like Linux Mint could be a fantastic, free, and secure alternative to Windows. It's faster, safer, and won't nag you with constant updates and advertisements. However, if you're a creative professional who relies heavily on the Adobe suite, or a competitive gamer who needs to play specific anti-cheat enabled games, sticking with Windows might be the more practical choice, at least for now. My best advice for anyone who's curious is to just try it out. You don't have to wipe your Windows installation and dive in headfirst. You can try Linux in a virtual machine using software like VirtualBox, which lets you run it in a window on your desktop. Or even better, you can create a bootable USB stick. This lets you run a full Linux environment directly from the USB drive without installing anything on your computer. You can test your hardware, see if you like the feel of it, and check if your essential software has a good alternative. It's a completely risk-free way to explore. Spend a weekend playing around with something like Ubuntu or pop_os. See how it feels. The worst that can happen is you decide it's not for you. But you might just discover a new way of computing that you absolutely love. In conclusion, moving from Windows to Linux is a journey. It offers incredible benefits in terms of cost, security, and customization, but it comes with a learning curve and potential software compatibility challenges. It's not about which one is better in an absolute sense, but which one is better for your specific needs and your willingness to learn. The Linux community is incredibly helpful, and the resources available online are endless. Don't be afraid to experiment. The freedom and power you can gain might be well worth the initial effort. Have you tried switching to Linux? What was your experience like? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks so much for watching, and if you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tech deep dives. See you in the next one.